Hello, hello, hello. All right, thanks, Beatlemaniac. Hey, Rebellious. Good to see you. Glad to have you back. Well, when you can be. Good to know, Beetle. Hey, Rody Gale. 2 more weeks, Rody Gale, of biology. So far, I haven't needed you, but I'm gathering that I might this week. So, how was everybody's weekend? No, I didn't, Rody Gale, because I was finishing up like a discussion thread, but now I have a quiz this week, so I'm gonna see what I need help with because I probably will. But I appreciate it hugely. Hey, Shalma. So really quick, I just want to address one thing is that I know, so on this channel, we don't do drama. A few people have texted me and asked me like if I'm okay, because there was some things apparently brought up in a different channel from my past. And I just want you guys to know that I am 100% all good. Like I'm having a blast on here. I am super crazy busy right now with the kids' sports and my schooling and the kids' schooling and our community here that I don't even pay attention to anything else. What's the past is the past, and I've moved on, and I'm just focused on true crime. So never fear, y'all. I am all good. Weekends are hard for me to stream because we're usually at many different sporting events. So once the fall season finishes up here in November, then hopefully our weekends will be a little freer. But I don't know if that's gonna happen. So, anyways, well, Kate is gonna join me here in a second when she gets here, but the Debbie case is still driving me crazy. Like I go over it and over it and over it, and still just I just keep thinking about it. What could it possibly be? That message? What could she have meant? All this stuff. So I've been going back and trying to, we haven't gotten a ton of new information, but there are some things that I've caught that are worth discussing, and I want to talk a little bit about that, and then. There was a case I haven't looked at yet, but I know Punkette was going to cover it. Hey, Kate. And it's called, it's Sean, I think it's Dougherty case. And I wanted to just intro that a little bit. That has to be one of the saddest cases they're all sad. They're all sad. So no new information has come out from Debbie from what I've seen, other than the fact that we do have one more image that allegedly was released today or Friday. I don't know. It said today, but where we see, hey, Cool Gamer, we can actually see her like minutes. They say minutes before she was deceased. But I still don't, how do we, thanks, Cool Gamer. How do we really know? Because we still don't have a time of death. This is maddening. I've been going back to Google Earth trying to figure out how could somebody have gotten there, because there's no way that another vehicle could have been, like it. Hey, SA. So, all right, Kate's here. Let me just make sure it's her because we have apparently.
Hey, it's me.
All right, awesome.
If I randomly mute, it's because I'm having like an insane sneezing fit right now, and they just keep coming, and I can't stop.
Are you sick? Did you get sick from your husband?
I'm not like sick, but I am getting a little stuffy. But I'm not like they were. But
yeah,
for some reason I can't stop sneezing for like the last half hour. So.
All right then. Hey, well, thank you, Cool Gamer. I appreciate you always being here. Without fail, you're always here. So, but so I haven't told Kate's. I wanted to get Kate's opinion, so I told her it had to be a surprise. But there was something that struck me as interesting. So the big thing now, everybody wants to know. Awesome, Rebellious. I'm so glad you're here. Is who's the truck driver that the sister was talking about and all this? Personally, I'm not taking a huge amount of stock in the truck driver. Hey,
I heard
darkness
that
and
was
sports.
all a lie, though. Like, I heard that he
See, he
he was
what?
looked into, and that like all his like everything that she said about him isn't true.
I
Like,
did not.
supposedly she said that he was like he had a felony and he was on probation, and he supposedly doesn't have any of that.
See, well, and you and I had kind of like we didn't really totally buy the truck story, the truck driver, because I figured that was just the daughter trying to, hey Jen, control the narrative of the case. So there was just one thing though that was interesting that seemed weird, and maybe it's not weird, but I've got it up here. So there's actually a couple weird things, guys. Don't let me forget the weird stuff. All right, so this is just talking about how allegedly she hits the truck. She was, this is what Amanda's story was that the paint, the guy with the painter or whatever, a paint can fell out of his truck and allegedly paint was everywhere. And the truck driver tried to convince her not to call the police because the parole and blah, 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 blah. Here's the weird part. I think I know where Amanda got the story. Do y'all see right here? Athens Clarke County police records show Collier was involved in a similar accident on April 30th, 4 months ago. A metal item fell off the roof of a GMC Savannah van and slammed into the driver's side front end of Collier's 2020 Ford Ranger, causing an accident. According to the incident report, no one was injured. Miguel, the guy, was cited for driving without a license and operating a vehicle without securing a load. But what I think that Amanda took that story and ran with it. I sound different
Yeah.
today? Do I sound more mature?
It well, she said something along the lines of the guy was like a felon and he begged Debbie not to call the police because he didn't have a license and he had like a felony or something like that. And she even I think she even mentioned like why he had a felony, maybe. I forget.
Mm-hmm.
And then supposedly or that he was on probation or something like that. And supposedly there's no record of him ever being on probation.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about this guy? So this guy, this April 30th accident, this guy's face has a slew of misdemeanors for pulling his ex-wife's hair, sending them both tumbling to the ground. However, he does not appear to be in the Georgia's parole system. Most of them were dismissed plea deal. But he was sentenced to 12 months of probation and would have been off 6 years before his accident with Collier. But I mean, regardless of that,
So he wouldn't have been on probation or anything. I mean, so what is she trying to say, that it was this guy? I mean, why would this
no,
guy?
I don't think so. I think she took this story because her mother told her this story.
Yeah.
And she took this story, made it a recent story, and told the aunt that story.
That's what she thinks it was.
I just think that she made the story up altogether of this truck driver by taking this.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, unless Debbie just got, hey Jen, hey point 11.
So I don't remember what it said in the call. Did she say that he like Debbie got this guy in trouble and that he's like coming back for revenge or something? Is that what she was like pointing out?
But I don't think it ever happened. Like, I don't think we ever finished that story. That
I feel like I need to like hear this call again because I don't remember like how she worded it.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get it up. is Amanda really that dumb? Like I
There's
guess I've
just so
just
many red flags with Amanda. I have a hard time thinking that it's anyone else. And I feel like the police really hint it towards her.
okay. Yeah.
Like, just in the way they said things, it really made me feel like they really think it's her.
Yeah. Okay. Let me share it. Let's listen to this audio here. Let's listen to the you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, the 911 call.
of the sister. Because if she took this story and like is using the story as like it happened recently, I mean, she's
What
still
year did they say the accident happened in?
that just happened April 30th.
Okay.
Amanda claims this accident happened this summer, I believe.
April 30th, got it.
I do too, Pointer Lover and Unique Trauma Obsessed. I think so. I think so, and I have some theories about why. But
Here's the thing: if it happened April 30th, why would this guy just now be tracking
right,
her down and punishing her for it? You know what I mean? It doesn't even make
exactly.
sense. Just
Yes,
Amanda's just so shady. The more I
Diane
hear about her,
Shirley, and my sister lives in Georgia, and my niece told me she was missing. Her name is Deborah Collier, or she could go by Debbie.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if y'all have any information about it.
As far as, I mean, no, not other than with the officer or whoever is working on the case. I don't know anything. Where does she live? Do you know?
All I know is, I'm sorry, I don't know her address. Collier,
Okay.
Collier.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have any information. When there's something, they will contact the family. Whenever they, like I said, whenever they have something for that.
Okay.
All right.
We're just not getting information, so I'm just.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I am really worried about my sister.
Okay.
And
you know, you have any information where she might go, or you have anything to add
well,
to it?
from my niece, she said that she was in an accident about a.
It's glitching. Shoot.
she was in an accident about a month ago. Is that what she
Yeah.
said?
Months ago, and she was, on the road. She was following this truck, and this truck lost a paint can, and the paint can hit my sister's car, and the paint went everywhere.
That's what I mean. That's basically.
And the driver was trying to convince my sister not to tell the cops that he was driving because he was out on parole, and there was, a stipulation to his parole that he couldn't drive.
I guess. You think
and
that I'm sorry. I was going to ask, do you think that was told to anybody else? Well, do you think that was told to the officer, that concern?
That's standing from my niece.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if the officer knows that, but I can have him call you. You want to pass it along with him, anything to help,
Yes, I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's no
because
problem.
I'm in Alabama.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm in Alabama, and I really do. She won't, she's not communicating very well with us, and I really would like to know what's going on.
I got you. Yeah, since you may have insight on that, I'll have the sergeant give you a call. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. That would be wonderful.
All right. And what does
he mean by entitlement? Like, I think she may have entitlement.
I have no idea, but
weird
hey,
thing to
Pamela,
say, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Hey, crazy mama. So it kind of sounded like he wanted law enforcement. I mean, would he have known this guy on the phone? Is he just a standard dispatcher, or?
I'm trying to do YouTube.
Because I don't, like he said, I don't know if law enforcement has that information.
Yeah.
It's that bruise she had on her face.
So it sounds like she's trying to like convince the family that, it's like, oh yeah, this is probably what happened because she did something sneaky. Like, why would you? I just think that's weird for her to say that. Like,
yeah, hey snow remover, hey Red Rock. Well,
and
first
her
of all,
sister even sounds
mhm.
suspicious of the daughter. Like, she's not communicating with us very well. Like, it sounds like she's suspicious.
That makes sense. Okay, relative. All right. Oh, I think she was 100% suspicious. And the paint can story that she told, I think that probably, because I'm sure her sister knew about her April 30th. So we're supposed to believe that she had the exact same situation happen April 30th and the beginning of August. I don't buy it at all. I don't buy it.
Yeah, I feel like she told her that to like make her think in a different direction.
Yeah, I think the aunt didn't trust Amanda, and by a
Well, it
lot of her
sounds like it. Like she's not communicating with us well.
Yep, for sure. The other thing that, so I was curious, I was trying to look up, she had a Chrysler, 2022 Chrysler Pacifica, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Punkette, Punkette, I'm sorry you don't feel good, Punkette. So, exactly, Pointer Lover, exactly. So a 2022 Chrysler Pacifica has a lot of bells and whistles. And so I was trying to deep dive into what it has. And somebody correct me because this was a big thing in the Watts case. Okay, apparently it has Alexa because it has Amazon Fire or something, and it says it has Alexa within the vehicle. Is it true that Alexa will pick up on like, hey Malibu Barbie, on like
People in distress?
yes.
I don't know. I've heard so many things about that it does, but I've never like. I mean, we can Google it.
Yeah,
I'm
when I
sure they would
googled
have that though.
it did. I mean, I'm shocked, but it had a lot of bells and whistles, like you connected everything, and I did, crazy mama. Hey Sarah. Um, but a couple things even said like some Pacificas have it set up where I don't see anyone in the back seat, Pamela, but that doesn't mean anything. My eyes aren't the best. Um, where it can
Hey,
monitor like
Sarah.
when you come in and out of the car. Like I mean, I don't know.
I hate going for the family, but like, there's just so many red flags with the daughter. I mean, it's like between the sister's phone call, her talking to her at 12 in the afternoon, and the mom literally having to leave right after that phone call because she was seen. All right, so the mom was seen at the school. Like, if we go by, well, let's start from the whole beginning timeline. The first red flag is the arguing with a female the night before, heard by the neighbors. Then around 12 in the afternoon the next day, Debbie talks to Amanda. Then she's seen an hour and a half away at 2:15 passing a school up there nearby, the dollar store. So she talked to her at 12 noon. She would have and left right after that. She would have got up there by like 1:30. So she probably talked to her at noon, said, "Hey, meet me here." And then the mom, got ready, did her makeup or whatever, and then left. So if she left within that half hour, she would have been up there around 1:15 or 2:15.
Oh yeah, something happened that she had to take off. I mean,
Yeah. And it was like very shortly after that phone call. For all we know, she could have been up there longer. And then what was she doing? From 2:15 to 2:55, because she was up that way by the dollar store. And she goes to the dollar store, sits outside of the dollar, or goes inside the dollar store, buys a bunch of items used to conceal her death. Her daughter gets a Venmo saying somebody's taking her, even though she's on camera with nobody. And she sits in the parking lot at that time. And then, so, like, that's a red flag, because it's like, did she actually send it, or did the daughter send it? Because there was nobody with her. So who is they? Then the daughter gets this Venmo, and she goes searching for her at Walmart instead of calling 911.
Right, which is weird.
Yeah,
Can you
like,
show the pic? Sure, Pamela. Let me get it. I did not know that, Red Rock. That is very interesting information. You know, the more I listen to him, the more I think that I don't
if
know.
you add up the boyfriend's legal bills, did somebody actually get a hold of his legal bills? I want to see that. Because I tried to look him up on Truth Finder and I can't find him. But I found him on somewhere else.
Okay, I gotta text this thing to me. Yeah.
Do you know if any creator actually found his court bills?
Hey, Devil Died. I don't know. Red Rock said yes. So I will say that somebody did see the van that was on Facebook or something. So they lived in the area. They just wanted to know if there was any more information because they saw the van. The other interesting thing of there was no money. Like, do we know if there was any cash found in her purse?
Not that I know of. Oh, and then besides that red flag that she didn't call 911, she shows up to the place with just giving a ping and not like the exact area, and she knew exactly where it was, which is a strange spot to just show up. Like, it would be hard for me to find an area on the middle of a highway.
Right.
I mean, unless they told her, like, yeah, it's in the middle of a highway, but I doubt it because it's usually like a 5-mile ping. I don't know. It's strange.
This is the dashboard. This is the Alexa and everything in the Pacifica. That's pretty crazy. Man. No wonder they're like 60 grand. There was something else. Oh, here we go. Here's the image, the last image of her. And this is allegedly right by the school, correct? I think was this last. Where is it?
I didn't realize he's a lot younger than the daughter. I mean, not a lot younger, but he's a couple years younger than the daughter.
So this, they say, was apparently, unique trauma. That picture I pulled up was where it was demonstrating Alexa. So I was just really super curious if Alexa really picks up on. But this is allegedly just minutes before she pulls off or whatever. I have so many theories. Like,
I mean, I don't know if the daughter actually did anything, but I think she knows. Like, I think she knows what happened at least.
text was it? Yeah, Rebellious. I don't think that he knew about the money at all. I wondered if. So I did like from the road to where the other road is, between the two roads, Victory Home Lane or whatever. It was like a quarter of a mile. So I still wonder if somebody came in from like the back way. So she got out of her car with all this stuff, including her nice blue purse, to go for a hike in the woods. And apparently there have been some family members that have said that Debbie never wore shorts, never. And she has shorts on in this video. So, I mean, she didn't necessarily look like, it doesn't make sense. The only thing I could think of is that somebody, they needed a discreet location and they said, meet us in the, I don't know.
Who said she doesn't wear shorts?
There was a family member that allegedly said she never wears shorts, a cousin or
Really?
something.
So do the family then not think it's her in the camera?
I think some of them don't.
I will say, like, when I first saw it, that was definitely one of my first thoughts, and like I felt like that was kind of like a crazy thing to say. I was like, I don't even want to say this, but it just seemed like, from the pictures I saw of her, it just like didn't seem like it would be her. But I guess the pictures that I could have seen could have been like her at work, or you know what I mean, like not in her lounge clothes. So
yeah,
it just like didn't look like it matched up with her style. You know what I mean?
All right, so here's the picture that Pamela wanted me to share. Again, I don't see it, but that doesn't say anything because I don't see it. Yeah. So this is the picture where people claim you can see somebody in the back.
Yeah, I seen that. It looks like the shape of a seat to me, though, like the headrest in the back. This is like, if you see it from a different, I have like an edited version of it, whereas like the contrast is different, but it doesn't look like a person. It looks like maybe it could be, but it looks more like, like a headrest, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. They must have some image of her forward facing, because that doesn't make sense that we don't have any she must be forward facing at some point for them to completely know for certain that she was by herself. I would think so.
I don't know how they can say, oh, she was by herself
based off of what we've seen.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be able, it's really hard to see with tint. Like, you gotta like if I can't see if anyone's in my car unless I actually go up and like put my face up to the window. Like, I have dark tint on my Explorer, and
true, Red Rock. Yes, you're right, Devil Died. Yep, they are adamant no one else was in the car. So they have, I feel like they're keeping, a couple of things.
They seem pretty adamant that it's a murder and that it was personal too. So I just feel like that whole press conference, they really, really like I felt like they were trying to, like, they knew it was the daughter, gave a lot of, or not the daughter, but like they knew there was some close involvement to her, and like the daughter just seems to be the one where they pulled the search warrants on her, and then they said, well, we can't tell you where the search warrants we got because then it would let you know our suspects, but we know they pulled search warrants on them and they took their phones because they said they're treating us like suspects.
Do you ever wonder if this was her first time doing it, or if she paid off her debts before? If it, say it is that, right? Say, that's kind of been something we've thought about before, that,
she was go meet somebody or something like that.
Yeah,
and it
possibly.
Went horribly wrong. Could be something like that. Because the way, and then she said, they won't let me go. Like the daughter would know who they is. And now they're saying they're so scared that they're barricading their doors. Like, so why are you scared if you, like, what are you barricading your doors for if you don't know who it is or who
and
they
people are saying that the Venmo could have been like a talk to text, or it could have been like the radio was playing that song in the background or something like that. I can't totally buy that concept yet, but all right, awesome, crazy mama. Yeah, so Debbie's son has been pretty quiet, other than just please respect my privacy, but I think he's pretty close to his sister.
I think so too.
So
Well,
But
she lived with him, and you could see photos of them two together, and they seem pretty close.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like that's why he kind of put that statement out, because he knew people were, like honing in on his sister, but it's
well,
hard
yeah.
not to.
And if you notice, law enforcement doesn't try to clear Amanda ever. Like, all they would have to do is just say, like, no evidence has pointed us to her or something like that to give her a break, but no one has. Law enforcement hasn't done that. Like when they did that with Jagger or whatever for Kylie's case. They could do that with Amanda, but they haven't at all. So,
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know. But I'm hoping here we find out a little more info in the next couple of days. But we'll see. So, and she has a lengthy criminal record. I don't exactly know what her motive would be, but
I don't know either. Like, and like, I can think maybe like she asked her to pay a debt for her, or something went wrong between like the mom and the boyfriend because they don't like each other, and she's sticking up for the boyfriend, or
Yeah.
But if that is the case, I won't be surprised if they turn on each other, because they already have a tumultuous relationship. I think that's the direction the police should go in, is try and scare them both, and try and get them to talk.
Yeah,
But you would
go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, you would think if the boyfriend was involved and she knew it, she would just rat him out. It's her mom.
Oh, for sure. And it's like, we have to remember too, she tried to get into her iCloud account.
Yeah, she did say something about she thinks she knew the password, but it's not working. Like, I bet you she did know that password, honestly.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, who knows how much access she had to all that stuff. It's just nuts. But okay, so not to jump, I just want to jump to this case really quick. I know Punkette, when she feels better, she's going to cover it, but I was asking you about it. I just started looking at this case today. Other than Debbie's case, is Sean, how do I say his name? Dougherty,
maybe?
This case, oh my gosh. So
it's crazy.
Okay, so I think I got it correct, but let me go to the actual.
I think there's a story on his mom's page, where she tells the whole story. The mom.
Okay, that's cool. So allegedly on April 14th, this 12-year-old boy was found hanging from a swing set in his backyard. And the family, the mother and the stepfather have, been trying to get a social media campaign to get his case covered. The York Sheriff's Office did respond last week saying that the death was fully investigated. Yeah, whatever. But here's what Sean's family says, that Sean's sister Maria found him on the swing set, and it was ruled death by ending your life. The mother said that, hold on, I'm trying to get. Okay, so the autopsy report from the State Office of Chief Medical Examiner states that Sean was found partially suspended by a shoelace type string that was tied to the swing set. While hanging, there was reportedly a nylon bag over his head and belt strapped around his abdomen, pinning both of his arms to his side. Report says, oh my God. It is also noted that he was wearing his stepfather's clothes and was barefoot. His glasses were on the ground nearby. No note was found. In the parents' bedroom, Sean's underwear was on the floor and the dresser's doors were open. Before his death, Sean was babysitting his 2-year-old brother at the house while Ramona whatever, took her mother to a doctor's appointment. Sean was excited to watch his little brother. Jared, the stepdad, was in Williamsburg with their second youngest son for an appointment. During Sean's last moments, he completed his homework, started taking out the trash, made a snack, and even had a quick phone call with his mother about an hour before his body was discovered. In the medical examiner's report, it noted that there was no known depression or history of depression or, end of life. And it notes that there was possibly bullying at school, but his family said that except for one incident in December, they were unaware of any other bullying. Said the night before he passed, Ramona bought cookies. They were excited about it. This is nuts. Are you kidding me right now? The family was expected to move soon. The dad had accepted a position at the Pentagon. Oh my gosh. All right, you got to fill me in. What is this?
So I don't know about like the family, like what they were like the moving and all that. All I know is he was babysitting his younger brother, and his sister was somewhere and came home, and she walked into the backyard and like saw something strange or I think the door was locked or something, and she couldn't get in, so she went to the backyard and she saw like, something strange on the swing set and couldn't make out what it was. And there was a guy who was landscaping the neighbor's yard. Like, she saw a guy landscaping, and I think there was another neighbor that was out too, but apparently nobody saw anything. The parents claim he was hanging, trigger warning, hanging from the swing set. With like by a shoelace, and he had a bag over his head, and his glasses were broken, laying in the grass, and he was barefoot, and according to the parents, his feet were clean, but the yard was muddy. Like, that's something they
really?
noticed, or that's what they said. And they didn't realize it at the time, but like later when they got to the hospital, she realized he was wearing the husband's clothes, like a button-up dress shirt and the husband's underwear.
Oh my God.
And so the sister was able to like get him down from the swing set by like pulling up the string over something. Like, she like lifted it up and got him off somehow.
Hey, Princess Megan.
And she got him off the swing set and called 911 and started doing CPR, and then the ambulance eventually got there, and they started doing like the heart thing where they,
oh yeah, like the defibrillator or something.
Yeah, the defibrillator. I couldn't think of the name. And they like got a heartbeat for a second, but supposedly he was like long gone before then. They couldn't like keep it going. They brought him to the hospital, and they let the mom go in there like one last time to see him, and she, like touched his feet, and I guess at the time where she was touching his feet, she noticed that that his feet were like clean, and then she went to go like hold his hand or something, and that's when she realized he was dressed in the husband's clothes. His underwear was found in the parents' bedroom, and the drawers were open. So, like, he was up there, or somebody was up there getting the clothes.
This doesn't make sense. How could this ever have been labeled? I mean,
and the mom said the belt around his waist was so tight that the paramedics had trouble like getting it off to get to him. Like the belt was wrapped, like his arms were stuck in like inside the
Yeah.
belt. But okay, like I'm not saying that he wasn't killed because I don't know, but I'm saying like to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
What if he was dressing up like his stepdad or whatever and putting on his clothes and put like a belt around, you know, the pants, like the dad's belt, you know what I mean? And then
True.
Playing on the swing set with a shoelace and put his hands inside, like slid his hands down inside the belt. You know what I mean? Like but supposedly the cops had done a press conference and they are saying that it's been looked into and they are labeling it a suicide. So
it's so hard for me. I have a 12-year-old, so it's just hard for me to even picture their brains thinking of that,
well,
you know.
I will say I was in 3rd grade and there was a kid. It was right around the time, I think it was right around the time, like I gotta look up the year that what's it called album came out. Blink 182. I can't remember if it was that same year or not, but we were in 3rd grade and he hung himself with a extension cord in his closet. And like, you know, I didn't even know what that meant in 3rd grade. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but it happened.
Yeah.
But now, who knows? I mean, what if there was some like weird TikTok trend or something he was watching and trying to
That's true.
do, or he's seen some, not even a trend, but some TikTok of somebody doing some weird stuff and tried it. You know, you don't know nowadays what these kids are watching on their tablets and stuff like that.
Yeah. And there's no like it's and there's so much like, you know, bullying. We don't even, you know, the whole bullying thing. Like I don't know how his head got covered. I mean, that's a good question.
Like what if he was watching some TikTok of some like freak who was into some like weird kink stuff and like put a bag over his head, and you know, some people do that stuff, and I'm not saying that's it, but I'm saying you have to consider like this sounds shady to me, I'll say that, but I'm all like, because the cops are saying that they found it as suicide. I don't know exactly what they know, but I would like to know what they know too, because like, let me see if I can find the
yeah, because I'm looking. I mean, there's so little information about this. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, the mom tells the whole story, but then I heard people saying that, like from the sound of, I think Greg Hughes was saying it, from the sound of the press conference that they had, that it sounded like the mom had fabricated or maybe not like fabricate it, but embellish stuff, or you know, said it how she, you know, in her mind it seemed to her, but to the police it, like, the evidence didn't seem that way. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has a different perception of things, and of course, I feel like, especially parents, nobody ever wants
to believe that. Yeah.
To believe that, you know, and I would just really like both sides of the story here, because I want to know why the cops think that, but it does seem a little weird. Like maybe it was some like weird guy who like broke in and did that, but then why was there no evidence of like you know what I mean, SA or
yeah. Well, why don't they, I mean, that's the frustrating part, is law enforcement can put it to bed by saying, you know, how do they know?
Well, like, Rose, I suppose he could have like put the belt, like dressed in the dad's clothes, right? And then put the belt around his waist, like he was putting on the belt, like how, his dad does or whatever. And then he could have been playing with the shoelace and did it, and then, or put his hands put his hands down the side, you know what I mean? Like slid his hands down in there for whatever reason, I don't know. But who knows what these kids are seeing on TikTok, or what they're watching and think is okay, and doesn't realize how serious some of the stuff is. Like, it does seem like really strange. I don't know if the mom was lying or if she embellished anything. Like, it does seem like a really strange position that he was in, I will say that. Like, I don't know how he ended up that way either, because it sounds like really hard for him to do. But
Yeah,
I would
like
have to
this.
see like how high the swing set was too, and like, maybe he thought he was close enough to the ground where he
Uh-huh.
could touch the ground or something. I don't know. Like, there's a lot I would have to see. I guess we can go look at the website and see if they have any pictures.
Yeah, like this says a few weeks later, the lead investigator, this is like them telling a story. The lead investigator would tell them they did a good print. They did get a good print from the lift of the hand, but that there weren't any matches in the system. It says a month later, when they came back for more prints, he said there weren't any good prints lifted and therefore nothing viable to test. The family does not know if the initial handprint was ever sent out for testing, and they haven't been given any documentation to support that it was. Sean's underwear was never sent out for testing, and they don't know what happened to those either. Wow.
Oh wow. So how
The
was it?
underwear thing is pretty crazy. Hey, Sandy.
How does that happen? Like, how do you have the kids' underwear and don't send cops? Some cops are so damn incompetent. Can't stand hearing stuff like this.
I
Like,
mean, in a case like this, wouldn't that be one of the
your
first things you
top
did?
priority. I swear, some of these like precincts just want to like end the cases so they don't have to do all the work, and
I know, you're right.
pay the money, or don't, you know what I mean? Like, they don't want to spend their budget on stuff like this. Like, I swear they do it on purpose. I never thought cops were this corrupt until the Morphew case, where they
Oh
started
my gosh.
exposing how half-assed all that evidence was that they tried to make out was like great evidence, and they lied about the dog who picked up the scent and stuff. Like,
Oh, really?
oh yeah, in the Morphew case, they lied
Oh,
about the
yeah.
dog.
So there was a handprint on the back door.
On the back door.
Yeah.
If they have like glass sliding doors though, like,
So they were that's probably the handprint. Then they were trying to get the print that she wanted them to take the prints off of. You should pull. They have a website.
they do. I know people were like reading a story off a website. Let me see. I want to watch the press conference. And let me see if I can find.
Seeing his face is just horrible.
How do you spell his last name?
DAU.
Yeah, the Facebook page. What happened to Sean? DAU.
Oh yeah, DAUGHERTY.
Trying to see. Oh.
Hey, Kellyanne. Yes, his dad did get a job. They were the stepdad. They were getting ready to move because he got a job at the Pentagon.
How do I find this press conference?
And apparently he was pretty excited. Sorry, I just found out about this case. Like, Blanca told me about it, and I was looking at it. I did not know how horrific it was. Well, here's the deal with, and I'm not saying, like law enforcement, in most cases, hopefully they do their best. Hopefully. But what's bothersome is even if they messed this up, right? Even if they were like, crap, it really could be homicide. Would they come forward? Would they say, or you think, like, is it an ego thing, I guess? Like, it's just hard to know if they would actually say, yeah, we messed up. Gosh. That poor sister, too.
Oh, yeah, she's going to be scarred for life, the poor thing. Everyone's saying, have you seen the police press conference on this? It was very eye-opening, and I think it's... So everyone who watched the press conference think it's suicide. Like, Gray Hughes said that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just can't find it.
Well, I'm going to have to do a deep dive into this.
Because everyone's saying, I'm trying to find it right now so we can watch it, but every time I type it in...
Has anybody in here seen the press conference?
MMA thing.
MMA. Every time I think of MMA now, I think of Andrew.
I know. Like, there's an MMA guy named Sean Doherty, so every time I...
Oh, yeah, that keeps popping up for me, too. Some of the theories that are happening in this Debbie Collier case, though, I gotta tell you, are pretty funny. Like, one person said that she might have hired a hitman on herself.
Maybe if I just look up on Google.
And rebellious, I agree. I mean, to just...
I'm going to mute real quick and see if this is it.
Okay. Punkette had done a lot of information on this, too, so when she feels better, I'm going to get her to come up. Kellyanne, we're just learning a little bit. I haven't seen much about the Sean Dougherty case, so I was just asking Kate some questions about it. Pamela, I got my Bills sweatshirt on. They won yesterday. It was pretty ugly, but they won.
They said it's on WTKR, but I can't find it. It's just driving me crazy.
So, not to kind of change the subject, but I just remembered something. So, if you can't find it, we'll watch it again. We'll talk about this again. But in Debbie's case, do you think that it's possible that somebody picked her up? Like, she left the van there and somebody picked her up and took her somewhere and then brought her back?
No, because I think she was still alive when all that went down. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, because they said it was highly possible that she had been, burned or whatever.
Yeah.
The one thing that people keep saying too is that law enforcement has specifically said that her phone was shut off after the Venmo.
Her phone was shut off after the Venmo?
Yeah.
And she had her phone.
Uh-huh. At the scene. I don't know how they would be able to tell that it was actually shut off, but...
So then what if... So here's what I think. Either that wasn't her in the video, one, or two, that wasn't her in the video, or somebody was hiding in the back and saying, do this right now and turn your phone off. You know what I mean? Like, if she was alone, it doesn't make sense to me. Or 3, somebody else had her phone and sent it and then went to the scene and put her phone there.
That's possible too. So how long will it take them to be able to discover when, like, the Venmo, like, where that came from?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes he's so loud. Sorry.
Football night.
No, not even watching. Not even watching football. He's playing.
Video game.
Yeah, he's playing video games and yelling. Yeah, I don't like. That makes no sense to me. It usually takes probably like 2 weeks to get. They have to go to.
They gotta get warrants out for.
Get the warrant. And then they have to get all the information, and then an expert has to go through all the information. They have to know how to like read the stuff, so it might take a while.
And I was reading that Apple is very difficult when it comes to being like by the book warrants.
Most phone places are difficult. I don't know why. I would imagine because they might be able to get sued or something, and they don't want to get involved in that stuff because it's a lot of like crap, so they just try and stay out of it. But I have heard it's pretty hard for them to get into Apple.
Like even Kaylee Jones' case, that she's still missing, but Brenda and Danny had to, like, the cops had to get a warrant just to get her Snapchat messages, like to get into hers. It was insane the amount that they had to go through to get messages and stuff.
So I just, not like, we can go right back to what we're talking about, but I just want to tell you right now. So he was in the 6th grade. He loved swimming, playing video games. He loved to read and could read a lot faster than I can. He was an amazing person. So Jared, hold on. You want to be the voice of Sean, the social media campaign. I found it. I found the
let's watch it.
Statements of cause concern in the community that the death of a 12-year-old on April.
Hold on. I'm trying to make it big. It won't.
If anybody's just joining, this is Sean Dougherty's case. We're going to watch the press conference to try to make sense of any of it.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You can share my screen.
Oh, yeah. There you are.
That the death of a 12-year-old on April the 14th, 2022 has not been fully investigated by the sheriff's office, and that there may be a killer in our area that poses a threat. Nothing could be further from the truth. It has been the long-standing policy of the York-Poquoson Sheriff's Office to not release information relating to cases of suicide, particularly those cases that involve children. We do everything within our power to preserve the privacy of the grieving family. We take these matters very seriously, evaluate all evidence, and consider all possibilities. The York-Poquoson Sheriff's Office is aware of a recent social media site created to provide the public with theories surrounding the death of this 12-year-old. Much of the information being posted to this social media site is opinion, innuendo, and fabrication, which is not consistent with the evidence that was collected by Sheriff's Office investigators during their investigation. Once that evidence was collected, it was submitted to the Department of Forensic Science for evaluation and later to the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. By law in Virginia, it is the Chief Medical Examiner's responsibility to determine the manner and cause of death which they, the Chief Medical Examiner's Office, determined to be a suicide. In addition, the sheriff's office met with the family on multiple occasions and gave them the opportunity to discuss this investigation. Additionally, an offer was made to have a group meeting after the findings of the chief medical examiner's office that would include the family, members of the York-Poquoson Sheriff's Office, and the office of the chief medical examiner. As of this date, the family has not expressed interest in scheduling the meeting. Instead, they chose to post this video publicly. There were several key points that were made in this video that the sheriff's office will address. First, in the video, the mother said, "They have told me a few times that they really don't know how to investigate this kind of murder case because it's really complicated." The implication being we, the York-Poquoson Sheriff's Office. That statement is absolutely not true and was never made to this mother. Our investigators are recognized in the Hampton Roads area as professional, caring, competent major crimes investigators. They have investigated and solved numerous cases that include homicides, suicides, rapes, and robberies. They have several decades of investigative experience within the division. The investigation divisions consist of graduates of the Virginia Forensic Science Academy, which has certified them as crime scene experts. Along with processing the scene and interviewing witnesses and the family, investigators interviewed a significant number of people to include surrounding neighbors, lawn care personnel, school officials, friends of the 12-year-old, and other community members. The results of these initial interviews did not identify any potential suspects. Also during the course of this investigation, the family provided information on individuals they believe may be involved in the case. Their suspicions were based on people that they merely believed to be in the area at the time of the incident. These individuals were all located, interviewed, and ruled out as persons of interest by Sheriff's Office investigators. The evidence collected and documentation shows many discrepancies in the version that was put forth on the family's page. The videos and photos you see on their social media site are not from the actual scene. They have been fabricated. First, the video of the man walking in front of their house is from 1 month after the incident, not the day of the incident. 2, the blood spatter image depicted in the video was not from the scene. However, we went back to the home on May 20th, 2022 at the request of the family. During that visit, the mother pointed out a red stain on the wall in the upstairs area of the home. Investigators photographed that stain on that date. Later, investigators reviewed the photographs that were taken on April the 14th, 2022, the day of the tragedy, and that stain was not present on that wall on April the 14th, 2022. In the mother's video, she states that her 2-year-old child witnessed the events that occurred in the house. During a recorded interview on April the 14th, 2022, between the mother and Sheriff's Office investigators, she stated when she left the house that afternoon to take her mother to an appointment, the child was asleep. When she returned home after the tragedy had been discovered, she is quoted as saying to the Sheriff's Office investigator, quote, "Thank God he was still asleep," meaning the 2-year-old. The information that she stated in her video about the 2-year-old has never been disclosed to the Sheriff's Office. In the mother's video, she states there was mud in the backyard, even refers to it as swampy. And she noted that there was no dirt on the 12-year-old's feet. Images from the day of the incident on April the 14th show that the grass was not wet and the yard was not swampy. There have been many statements on this website regarding the alleged staging of the scene. The photo of the backyard displayed on the social media site shows a swing set and a chair. It's important to note that the swings that are wrapped over the top posts of the swing set and the chair were moved by York County Fire and Life Safety personnel in order to create enough space to render life-saving measures. The chair was moved from its original location under the swing by Fire and Life Safety personnel where the 12-year-old was hanging, to the front of the swing set, and the swings were moved to provide workspace. Our investigation determined that the chair was originally located on the deck at the rear of the home and was moved to the swing set area. Also during the course of our investigation, DNA samples were collected from the cord that the 12-year-old was found suspended from. This cord was not a shoestring. It came from a motorcycle helmet bag that belonged to the stepfather that had been previously located in the garage. The 12-year-old's DNA was the only DNA found on this cord. Specifically, the DNA swabs were taken from the knot placed in that cord, and the only DNA on that knot belonged to the 12-year-old. In the video, there's an allegation that members of the YPSO, the York Poquoson Sheriff's Office, washed blood from the 12-year-old. At no point did any member of the Sheriff's Office clean or remove any blood from the scene or the child. At the hospital, investigators placed bags over the 12-year-old's hands prior to him being transported to the medical examiner's office. This is common practice to prevent the loss of any potential trace evidence. Based on the fact that the family was telling us that neighbors had information that they were providing to the family about possible suspects, our investigators went back to interview those neighbors, and none provided any additional information or new investigative leads. There is a statement in the mother's video about the unusual location of the 12-year-old's underwear. The clothing that the 12-year-old was wearing when he was located that day belonged to his stepfather, to include the stepfather's shirt, pants, belt, and stepfather's underwear. The 12-year-old's underwear were found in the same room where his stepfather's clothes were kept. In the video, the mother states that someone from the York Poquoson Sheriff's Office sent her a text that stated, quote, "Time to move on." To our knowledge, that statement was never made. We have done some research and have not been able to locate a text message telling the family to move on. The only text similar to this was a text between the investigator and the mother, where the mother states to the investigator, quote, "It is time to heal." Several theories were presented to the Sheriff's Office investigators by the family. The first theory provided to the family about what happened that day stated that they believed that this was a burglary, and during the burglary, their 12-year-old was sexually assaulted and murdered. However, Sheriff's Office investigators found no evidence of an intruder, and laboratory and medical evaluations of forensic evidence sent to the laboratory found no signs of sexual assault. The second theory presented by the family
Hey,
was
Melissa.
carried out as a military-type operation directed at them, the family, due to their rank in the United States Air Force. And finally, they identified 3 different people based solely on speculation that they frequented the neighborhood. All 3 of these people were located, and Sheriff's Office investigators eliminated them as persons of interest in this incident. We did not address every inconsistency or fabrication from the social media site. We conducted a thorough, professional, and exhaustive investigation. There is nothing whatsoever to indicate that there is a killer in our community. As I stated at the beginning of this video, it is our policy not to discuss these issues in public, particularly when they involve children. However, the social media site has caused great concern within our community. We still extend an invitation to the family to meet with members of this agency and the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner to discuss the results of the autopsy and our investigation. In the community.
Emily, yeah, that's still my question, but my mind is blown.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because it's definitely possible he could have, like, it's not impossible to be in the position he was in. It's just a weird position for someone to put themselves in. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I thought that maybe too, Pamela. Maybe he put on the stepdad's clothes to make a point. You know what I mean? Like,
well, if they were moving and, okay, yes, to an adult, we might say that was really not a reason to, do something like that. But to a kid that is extremely angry because his dad is moving them away,
like 12 to like 18-year-old emotions are really high at that point in your life. You know what I mean? Everything is a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
And look, when I was 12, I was like, I had a boyfriend. I was, like,
Yeah.
being much older than a 12, like acting much older than a 12-year-old. I mean, it's not like a 12-year-old couldn't think of doing something like that. Like it's,
Mhm.
you think, oh, they're only 12, that's crazy. But when I think back at how, like, when I was 12 and the stuff I was doing, like, he could have definitely put himself in that position, is what I'm saying. Like, he could have,
Yeah, I mean, he was really smart, from my understanding too. I mean, it
yeah.
said he loved to read. He spent he saved $107 for books, just to buy
And
books and stuff to
and on
read.
the medical examiner's, like, cause of death thing, she wrote somewhere that, like, he had some suicidal ideations before.
Wow. Yeah,
Like,
it did need
they
to
said
come
that
up.
he was happy, but on the medical examiner's papers, she said that there was, like, she had noted that. But I
Wow.
mean, you could, trigger warning. I'm not trying to, like, I'm not trying to, like, sound terrible, but he could have, like, gotten the string ready and, like, got it ready and then put
Mm-hmm.
a bag on his head and then stuffed his hands down into the belt so that, like, he couldn't
He
get
didn't
away.
fight it. Yeah.
Yeah. And now 12-year-olds are way further ahead than we were at 12 because of social media. I mean, who knows what the heck he's watching on social media?
That
Who
makes me
knows what
think
he's
of
watching
something.
on TikTok or,
That makes me think of what I just studied in one of my psych classes about middle adolescent being a time where kids often can't um, they can't decipher like what's basically what's dangerous and what's not, as far as like they kind of feel invincible in some ways.
yeah. Oh, I used to ride my what's it called? My listen to this. This is how stupid I was at 12 years old. There
Okay.
was like a 14-foot wall that went down the street, and it was like a hill, and then the wall ran along the hill, and there was like an apartment complex above this hill. Well, it was like a 14-foot wall, and I used to get my rollerblades and ride on this 14-foot wall with my, like, if I fell off this wall, I'd be dead for sure. Like, I wasn't worried about consequences then. Like, I didn't even, like,
Yeah.
now I would never do that. I would be like, holy crap, I'm scared to death.
Mhm.
Why would I ever do this? But when I was 12, it seemed like a good idea to me.
Yep. I mean, that's what it says. Like that.
I mean,
They.
it was so dumb. Like, why would anyone ride their rollerblades on this little skinny foot-long wall that's 14
Yeah,
foot high?
That's pretty bold. It's because you didn't understand your own behavior or the risks associated with that behavior.
Yeah.
According to psych. Wow, that's it. Yes, that's it. Rebellious. You know, he
For
could have been.
instance, when I was 12, I remember this, and it's really stupid, and these kids love doing it. There was like a test called like the pass out test, where like you would hold your neck for so long and then you pass out. Like, or you have somebody else do it for you. Like, how
Yeah, like
stupid was that?
yeah,
I
I
did that
remember that.
at sleepovers all the time. I did that shit at sleepovers all the time. We did the
Yep.
pass out thing. So you pass out, do that like, do this until you pass out. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was like this. I don't know. But there, you did something. You basically cut off all oxygen to your brain until you pass out, which is so
Yeah.
freaking stupid. But we did it all the time. Somebody would stand behind the person, and they would do it until they fell over. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows what's on TikTok right now where they're like, hey, put a bag on your head and tie a shoelace and see how long you can last. Like, kids are stupid. They do stupid stuff. He could have found one stupid kid doing this on his swing set that was tall enough to stand up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Hey, Jameson. I mean, yeah, it's horrific, but it did kind of shift my thoughts some, and maybe shift it towards it. I don't know. It
Right.
definitely seems like a message to his stepdad.
Yeah.
But are you
I don't know. Like,
tied?
I'm not trying to take away from the parents because, maybe something did happen. I don't know. But I'm just playing devil's advocate here and saying it is possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
It's,
mean, you can't lie with the photographs, right? On April 14th, there was no blood.
yeah.
And that's doesn't say that, that the parents planted anything there, but it just means, they might have not realized that it
Or
wasn't
what?
there on the 14th,
What if he was? What if he wanted to scare his mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And wanted her to think that she's gonna come home and see her husband hanging from the swing set or something. You know what I mean? Because he's in the husband's clothes.
Yeah.
Maybe he was trying to pull some prank on his mom, pretending to be the dad, and something went terribly wrong. You know what I mean? Like he thought his feet would reach and they didn't.
Yeah.
But there's
It's so
things you do
awful.
when you're 12 that are just not smart. And I did a lot of things when I was 12 that was just not smart.
Yeah, you just don't think the end result could ever be that bad.
I mean, he was a really smart kid for sure.
Yeah, I mean, my 12-year-old definitely wouldn't save $107 for books. I wish she would, but anyways, well, I'm gonna hop off here. If you guys have any updates on Debbie, if you ever please SOS one of us because it's driving us nuts.
Yeah, right. I feel like something's gonna happen soon, though. I feel like they're onto something.
I hope so. I hope so. Like each day, I feel like we get a little piece of info. I feel like they're just waiting for that one last piece to,
Yeah.
stick the arrest or something. Yeah, I agree. Rebellious, a 12-year-old thinking. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, wanting to scare his mom, pretending he was the stepdad. The mom coming home, be like, "Oh my gosh, my husband."
Yep.
And it's just something terribly wrong. I mean, it's definitely possible that he could have. It's a weird position for sure. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that it is strange, but it's definitely one that some person could pull off on their own. But I don't know. I just play devil's advocate in every case because I'm just like one of those people who need like a hard
No, that's
evidence.
good. We needed to. No, I'm glad you shared that press conference because I really needed to see that, or I would have been like, "How is this? How could this be anything else?" I did not know Decipher podcast was live. I didn't know they were going live tonight. But if y'all want, I'm gonna hop over there. They're talking about Devin Clark and Lyric Woods, which is absolutely the worst.
I'll head over there too.
All right, y'all. We'll see you later, and we'll hopefully solve this case soon. Bye, guys.
See ya.